On March 8, 2014, Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, headed for Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and an experienced crew. It was a standard red-eye flight, operating within the most heavily monitored airspace in the region. Modern aviation relies on a continuous digital tether to the ground. Every commercial airliner is tracked through overlapping communication grids and internal transponders that broadcasts its position, altitude, and speed to air traffic controllers in real time. For the first 37 minutes, the flight was unremarkable. At 1:19 a.m., Kuala Lumpur Control radioed the plane to hand off monitoring to Vietnam. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah replied, "Good night, MAS 370. Those were the final words heard from the cockpit. 2 minutes later, just as the plane crossed into Vietnamese airspace, its transponder stopped transmitting. MH370 abruptly vanished from civilian air traffic control radar. This created a baffling contradiction. A 300-ton Boeing 777 had seemingly evaporated from a system designed to make it impossible for an aircraft to disappear. The immediate silence didn't trigger an alarm. Controllers in Kuala Lumpur assumed the plane had simply transitioned into Vietnam's range, while controllers in Vietnam, seeing the blip vanish, initially assumed it was a routine delay in the digital handover. Because of that initial confusion, 4 hours passed before a formal emergency response was initiated. By the time search protocols began, the plane should have already been landing in Beijing. While the human monitors and the primary civilian grid had failed, secondary automated systems were still passively recording the aircraft's movements in the dark. Investigators eventually turned to Layer 1 of the backup grid, military radar. This defense-grade tracking revealed that the aircraft had not suffered an immediate catastrophic explosion. Instead, military data showed the plane making a sharp 180-degree turn right at the Vietnam border. It then flew back across the Malay Peninsula and headed westward toward the Andaman Sea. A turn of that precision, executed right at a navigation waypoint, suggests a pilot attempting to return to the nearest viable runway during an emergency. However, because the plane then flew for hours in a straight line without further course corrections or radio contact, investigators began looking at the effects of hypoxia, or oxygen deficiency. If a slow decompression occurred, the crew could have been rendered unconscious shortly after setting their return course. This would leave MH370 as a ghost flight, a plane flying blindly on autopilot while the crew and passengers remained unresponsive. Because a ghost flight leaves no intentional radio calls, investigators had to move beyond radar and rely on abstract mathematical data to track the plane's final hours. This leads to Layer 2, satellite handshakes. Even with its transponders off, the plane's internal hardware automatically attempted to log in to an Inmarsat satellite 7 times during the flight. Measuring the satellite antenna's angle revealed the plane's distance during 7 automated connections. Mapped globally, these form concentric rings of possible locations. The outermost ring, the 7th arc, marks fuel exhaustion, identifying a specific crash zone in the southern Indian Ocean. Orbital geometry confirmed the plane flew south, but the resulting search zone was so mathematically immense that finding the wreckage on the deep ocean floor remained a nearly impossible task. The initial $160 million deep-sea search found nothing. For years, the primary fuselage remained missing within the massive expanse of the 7th arc. Investigators then looked to Layer 3, the ocean grid. They used drift analysis to study how natural ocean currents act as a physical tracking system, carrying buoyant objects thousands of miles from a crash site. This analysis predicted that if the plane crashed in the 7th arc, debris would eventually wash up in East Africa. Starting in 2015, that prediction came true, as 27 pieces of the plane were recovered on the shores of Reunion and Madagascar. These physical fragments validated the abstract satellite math. The debris confirmed that the plane followed the satellite rings deep into the southern Indian Ocean. In 2022, aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey introduced a 4th layer to the investigation, WSP-ARNet. This network relies on a global web of amateur radio waves that are constantly bouncing through the atmosphere. These signals are weak and highly sensitive to any interference. When a massive object like a Boeing 777 flies through these signals, it creates a readable disturbance. These radio waves reflect off the aircraft's metal skin, leaving a digital wake that can be analyzed long after the flight has ended. This effectively uses global radio traffic as a passive detection network, capable of spotting an aircraft even when all its onboard tracking systems are silent. Godfrey analyzed archived radio data from the night of the disappearance, looking for specific disturbances that matched the flight path of a Boeing 777. His findings pinpoint a specific location on the 7th arc, roughly 4 kilometers beneath the ocean surface. This new radio data narrows the search from a vast, uncertain expanse to a single target zone. This proposed search area has a radius of only 40 nautical miles. It provides a concrete, manageable coordinate for future expeditions, a far more specific target than any previous analysis. MH370 remains missing, but the investigation has revealed that the flight was never truly off the grid. Between military radar, satellite handshakes, and radio disturbances, the plane left a trail of data across 3 different planetary systems. We haven't recovered the aircraft yet, but the math required to find it is now part of